Previously, we delved into the most underrated aspects of WWE 2K games, uncovering hidden gems across the series. But now it's time to flip the script. We're shifting our focus to explore the most overrated features in each installment of the 2K series. From features that were promised much but delivered little to those that received undue acclaim, let's critically examine what didn't quite live up to the hype in the 2K series. Join us now as WrestleGamia looks at the most overrated thing in every WWE 2K game. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we upload a video. WWE 2K14 Rivalry Manager in Universe Mode. In 2K14, the Rivalry Manager was introduced as a feature meant to add structure and coherence to Universe Mode. While it did provide a framework for a 1-on-1 and 2-on-2 rivalries, this structure came at the expense of the mode's previously unscripted and unpredictable nature. The predetermined rivalries, although initially the addition was an intriguing one due to issues of players reporting rivalries randomly being dropped in previous universe modes, it unfortunately and quickly became repetitive and predictable, diminishing the excitement of a spontaneous WWE storylines. The loss of this randomness in story development meant that the game lacked those surprising moments that often define WWE's real-life narratives. Fans missed the thrill of unexpected twists and turns, which had been a key appeal of Universe Mode. The feature, while innovative in theory, ended up constraining the creative freedom players previously enjoyed, leading to a less dynamic and engaging experience. Further, the similar feel across different rivalries exacerbated the issue. The lack of variation in storyline progression and character interaction meant that each rivalry, regardless of the wrestler involved, followed a similar pattern. The similarity of each rivalry under the Rivalry Manager feature made the Universe Mode feel more like a series of repetitive stories rather than a dynamic wrestling universe with shocking twists and turns, leaving players wanting the unpredictability and excitement of previous iterations like WWE 12's Universe Mode, for example. WWE 2K15 Showcase. The 2K15 Showcase mode was introduced with much fanfare, promising an immersive journey through some of WWE's most legendary rivalries. A twist for the mode, as previously it had been based on the Attitude Era and WrestleMania events. And while the mode delivered on its promise of nostalgia with well-crafted retrospectives of feuds like CM Punk vs John Cena and Triple H vs Shawn Michaels, it also started a trend that was less consumer-friendly. Specific match types, which had previously been available across all modes, were now locked exclusively within Showcase. This move, while subtle, represented a significant shift away from the series' tradition of offering a wide variety of match types for players to enjoy in any mode. Like how WWE 13 included the I Quit match and special guest referee matches throughout the entire game, even though they were just added so certain matches for WWE 13's Attitude Era mode could be included. The impact of this decision was twofold. On one hand, it reduced the overall variety and replayability of the game outside of the Showcase mode. Players who had enjoyed the freedom of choosing a wide range of match types in previous titles now found their options very limited. On the other hand, it set a precedent for future games to include this practice of restricting content, a direction that didn't align with the series' historically friendly approach. Despite the high quality of the Showcase mode itself, this aspect is often overlooked in discussions about the game. While players enjoyed reliving these historic rivalries, the subtle shift towards locking content behind specific modes began here, marking a change in how 2K games were structured and how they were engaging their player base. WWE 2K16 My Career. The 2K16's My Career mode was an improvement over its predecessor, offering players more freedom and the ability to continue their career even after winning the WWE title. However, despite these advancements, the mode was still plagued with issues that detract from its overall appeal. The storyline elements, which are crucial for any engaging career mode, were sparse and infrequent, leading to long stretches of gameplay without any significant story development. This lack of consistent storytelling made the mode feel aimless and disconnected. The grind to climb the title rankings in My Career was another major drawback. Players found themselves stuck in a repetitive loop of matches with little to no narrative context, making the gameplay feel more like a chore than an exciting journey to the top. This grind, though common in career modes, was particularly pronounced in 2K16, where the lack of engaging story elements made the repetitive gameplay more apparent and less enjoyable. The improvement over 2K15's My Career was an acknowledgement, but it was not enough to make the mode truly stand out. The good stories, when they did occur, were overshadowed by the overall monotony of the mode. This aspect of 2K16's My Career was often forgotten or overlooked as players focused more on the improvements rather than the lingering issues that continued to hamper the experience. WWE 2K17 Promos in Universe Mode. 2K17's addition of promos to Universe Mode was a significant step in bringing a key aspect of WWE's entertainment value into the game. The intent was to balance the in-ring action with the drama and storytelling that happens on the mic. However, the implementation of this feature fell short of capturing the essence of WWE promos. The repetitive dialogue and limited options in these promos meant that they quickly became monotonous. Players found themselves cycling through similar scripts, which did little to advance storylines or develop characters in a meaningful way. This lack of depth and variation in the promo segments made them feel like a missed opportunity to truly enhance the Universe Mode experience. While future games made attempts to improve this feature, the initial offering in 2K17 is often remembered more positively than it should be. The excitement around the introduction of a new feature overshadowed its shortcomings. The promos in their debut form were a far cry of what should be expected from a wrestling show. Well, in fairness, they did manage to capture the essence of what 2010's era Vince McMahon approved promos would sound like. WWE 2K18 Expanded Backstage. The Expanded Backstage area in 2K18 was a much anticipated improvement, adding new locations to the parking lot, catering area, and more offices. This expansion was intended to enhance the immersion and variety of the backstage brawls, a staple in WWE games. However, despite these additions, the backstage areas often felt empty and lacked the interactivity that players had expected. This shortfall was particularly noticeable when compared to the more dynamic and engaging backstage environments of previous games like SmackDown Here Comes a Pain. The lack of interactivity in the expanded backstage areas was a significant issue. Players expected to engage in more varied and creative interactions in these new spaces, but found them to be underutilized. The added locations, while visually appealing, didn't offer much in terms of gameplay variety or excitement. This lack of depth in the backstage areas made them feel more aesthetic additions rather than functional expansions of the game world. Despite being an improvement over 2K17's backstage area, 2K18's version didn't fully live up to the expectations set by earlier titles. The backstage areas, though larger, failed to capture the chaotic and liveliness that is characteristic of WWE's backstage action. This expansion, while a step in the right direction, didn't quite deliver the immersive and interactive experience that players had hoped for. WWE 2K19 Big Head Mode. 2K19 introduced Big Head Mode, a playful, nostalgic throwback to classic gaming features. Initially, it was a humorous novelty, offering a light-hearted departure from the game's usual realism. The oversized heads on wrestlers provided a few laughs, but the amusement was fleeting. Beyond the initial novelty, the mode offered little in terms of replay value or gameplay enhancement. The charm of Big Head Mode quickly wore thin. After a couple of matches, the exaggerated proportions lost their appeal, revealing the mode as a superficial addition. While it was a fun, quirky feature, it didn't contribute to the core experience of 2K19. The game's strengths lay elsewhere, and this mode, though amusing, was far from being a significant part of its success. This feature is a reminder that not all additions have a lasting impact on the game's appeal. Big Head Mode, while initially entertaining, became an overlooked and underutilized aspect of 2K19. Its inclusion, more of a fleeting gimmick than a substantial gameplay element, illustrates the difference between a fun extra and a meaningful enhancement to a game. WWE 2K20 My Career. In 2K20, My Career mode returned, aiming to build upon the storytelling of previous installments. However, the mode was plagued by a series of goofy and often nonsensical storylines, focusing on main characters Trey and Red. These narratives lacked the depth and engagement found in 2K19's My Career, resulting in a gameplay experience that felt more tedious than enjoyable. The storylines in the My Career mode were criticized for their lack of coherence and immersion. Players found themselves slogging through a campaign that felt disconnected from the authentic WWE experience. The attempt to infuse humor and lightheartedness into the mode fell flat, detracting from the overall experience rather than enhancing it. Often cited as a redeeming quality in an otherwise poorly received game, My Career in WWE 2K20 doesn't withstand closer scrutiny. The mode's subpar storytelling and execution represent a significant step down from its predecessor. This overrated aspect of 2K20 serves as a reminder that even the most promising features can falter without careful attention to narrative and player engagement. WWE 2K22 Showcase Mode. The Showcase mode in 2K22 featuring Rey Mysterio's illustrious career initially seemed promising, however it fell short in several key areas. The use of real-life footage instead of full-length cutscenes diminished the mode's ability to fully immerse players in the iconic matches. The lack of commentary further reduced the mode's appeal, taking away from the excitement and atmosphere that is typically enhanced by WWE's dynamic commentary team. The Showcase mode's content was also notably lighter compared to previous versions, with fewer matches and less in-depth exploration of Rey Mysterio's career. The reduction in content was often overlooked, overshadowed by the surface-level appeal of reliving Mysterio's greatest moments. Despite being a well-intentioned tribute to one of WWE's greatest luchadors, 2K22 Showcase mode was a step back in terms of depth and engagement. The mode's shortcomings, particularly the lack of cutscenes and commentary, hindered its ability to truly recapture the magic of those historic wrestling moments. The reliance on real footage, while a novel approach, ultimately felt like a substitute for a more immersive in-game experience. And WWE 2K23 MyGM. MyGM in 2K23 was anticipated as a potential game-changer, a mode that could recapture the magic of GM modes from the earlier titles like SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. However, it fell short of delivering the depth and complexity that made those earlier versions so engaging. Key elements such as trades and intricate storylines were missing, leaving the mode feeling underdeveloped and lacking in comparison. The mode's execution was another point of contention. Players found that MyGM didn't quite capture the strategic depth and polish of its predecessors. The mode often felt like a bare-bones version of what it could have been, lacking the finer details and comprehensive management options that characterizes the GM modes of the past. Despite its potential, MyGM in 2K23 is often overrated due to the nostalgia it evokes. While the foundation is there, the mode requires significant enhancements to truly shine. The current state of MyGM, through a step in the right direction, leaves players yearning for the more robust and engaging experiences of previous GM modes. Its presence in 2K23, while noteworthy, doesn't fully live up to the legacy of the feature. But there you have it folks, the most overrated thing in every WWE 2K game. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling video game content.